physical silver, I mean, we've done analysis of the silver market, and I take my point of view on the silver markets, go from 05 to 2011. And I can see 4 or 5 entities that changed their demand by a total of 380 million ounces. Lack of US government selling, Chinese going from exports to imports, which changed by 200 million. The US used to sell 100 million. The ETFs coming along, which are buying something like 60 or 70 million ounces a year. Gold probably goes to some number that's, you know, stratospherically higher than it is today. So that means that silver is going to have a great move. The historical relationship is 16 to 1. I see the buying coming in at 1 to 1. I see the supply of gold above ground in dollars is approximately 100 times greater than silver. But the buying's 1 to 1, so something's got to give somewhere. You just see things developing in the market that could make it explode at any moment in time. I always think, well, in 3 to 5 years for sure it'll trade at 16 to 1. You know, when it actually happens, I don't know. It could get parabolic at any moment. I mean, we have a financial system that's on the edge of a cliff here, so all I know is that you can safely own it, go to sleep at night, and you'll be a winner at the end of a certain time period, and you'll be a big winner at the end of that time period.
Getting into a market is one thing, getting out of a market is something different, but what I always say is that gold will become overvalued, not when you're going to sell it, but when you're going to spend it. In other words, I firmly believe that gold's going to be circulating again as currency in some form, maybe digital through, you know, gold money or other alternatives, but you know, given the fact that gold has been money for 5,000 years, and we've been experimenting with a money substitute called fiat currency for 40 years, and given the fact that this experiment with fiat currency seems to be going horribly wrong, it seems inevitable we're going to come back to gold in one way or another.
I would think so. I mean, that's the ultimate thing that's going to happen. It will. You need something to back the currencies, and it's got to be something physical. So gold's got to play a big part, silver's got to play a big part. Maybe other commodities do, I have no idea, but those would be the 2 key ones that are usable, fungible, and in everyday use. And that's why another reason why I think silver could be kind of interesting. Imagine if we actually had to go to a real currency that we used in our hands. That's a lot of physical currency we got to create, having created all this paper that might disappear.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a very interesting thing. I was talking to a guy who ran a mint, and he said, there are people buying copper coins. And I thought that seemed really odd to me. I said, well, maybe the guy's really far-sighted and he can see it coming back as a currency, because you need the lower denominations thing to have everyday currency exchange.
Yeah, interesting, interesting. You know, Eric, this video is going to be seen by thousands of people throughout the world. Is there any last comments that you'd sort of like to leave in terms of things that you see important?
Well, I still believe that an investment in silver is a very safe investment today. When we look at the data points, they scream at us that it's undervalued. When you look at the history of what's happened in both the silver and gold market, I happen to believe in what Gatta's believed, that there's this these hands from the outside keeping things restricted, and they're going to lose control. So people have to be in precious metals if they want to protect themselves, and there aren't many other investments. I mean, that you could consider agricultural investments, but those are the key things in my mind that will protect one.
And that's a specialized area, whereas, you know, buying gold and silver are quite simple as opposed to the complexities of agricultural investments.
Yeah, it's by far the easiest. Everyone who's an investor has money. They have it invested in some paper instrument. They should take part of it and own some gold and silver.
Eric Sprott, founder and chairman of Sprott Asset Management, thank you very, very much for being with us today.
It's been my pleasure.